So back to the wetlands walk. Let's see if we can get ourselves up here. So, to do these walks around the camping ground, it's distractions left, right and centre. And it's such a good thing. Oh, here we go. Talking about distraction, that's another. Rightio, the white ibis is working its way along the edge of what we call Blue Lake, across the mud that's been exposed, hunting for food. So white ibis is also, my favourite name for them is the sacred ibis. But you might know them as the bin chicken. They don't deserve that name out here, they're magnificent creatures. I don't know about their behaviour in the cities, that's a different story. Grey fantail ahead of me. Yeah, my thinking was, well, let's go for a walk while it's raining in the wetlands. You see a little bit of a link there. The wetlands, they're not wet all the time. This is the thing, they fluctuate. So if we were to hold water in the wetlands the whole time at full level, not that it's physically possible anyway, the wetland plants, most of the wetland plants would die. So there's only a very small number of the Australian wetland plants that are adapted to being flooded the whole year round. The vast majority of them need to be growing in very shallow water, less than 30 centimetres deep, many less than 10 centimetres, and they need the ponds to dry out for part of the year. They'll die back to the underground parts. When the rain comes, they will, and the flooding comes, there'll be a period when the waters are open and the cycle of life can begin. So there's quite a few. I've done a lot of shorts on our YouTube, which was today at Grampians Paradise. So I covered 6 months with these, or just under 6 months, and it takes you through from December. And if you actually go and watch that playlist, it takes a little while. It's only 6 seconds each video. You get to see this progression of change. Now, that was done in a wet year, so things didn't actually dry out completely. But if I turn the camera around here, dry pond. A couple of kangaroos down in here. Let's spin the camera around. Okay, so once again a dry pond. This is natural. This is part of the normal cycle. And it's just amazing watching this cycle happen over the year. Now, while there might not be standing water in these ponds, there's tons of moisture in the ground underneath and tons of moisture left that is soaked into the surrounding country. So that keeps driving growth of plants. It's actually green underfoot at ground level, and also gives us one of our incredible fire barriers. The experience has been a number of times over now that where the ground is soaked with moisture from underneath, the fire cannot carry through that ground. So the Redman Bluff Wetlands, our created Redman Bluff Wetlands, creates this really big fire break, effectively. The fire hits the wet ground and it just peters out. So that's a tremendous amount of protection we have to something like an area that's maybe in the vicinity of 10 acres between the camping ground that's surrounded by the wetlands and a good part of the wetlands itself. And we did get the fire into one little part on what we call Blue Lake Bank. It was able to move along the dry ground and got into some hollows. We've been able to deal with all that. It was within reach of the big hoses from the hydrant, so we doused it multiple times over a number of days to take all the heat out of that. But it's not even, what would it be, 30 metres by 10 metres in area, something in that scale. And it actually petered out of its own. It was hot, really hot. Destroyed a number of melaleucas and black walls. It just didn't have the push, even with that amount of energy, to get into the wetlands. This one we're going past is Fourth Pond is its construction name. Now I've got to think. So third is Ibis Wetland. This is Snipe Swamp. So a huge amount of beautiful shallow ground. I don't know how much you can see. I'll spin around. So Redman Bluff covered in the clouds there. Step out of frame so we've got focus. So to some people this is just a muddy mess. But you'll see the water ribbons are eaten. There's footprints all through this. There's going to be insects, there's food, there's green. This is really, really important stuff. This land, this sort of stuff, the wetland ponds, is what gives Grampians Paradise its ability to carry so much wildlife, so many native birds, so many frogs here throughout the year. Yeah, water equals life. It's so essential that it's in the landscape. And we, since colonisation, have removed so much water from the landscape with the draining of the wetlands, the draining of the floodplains, the creeks getting incised. There used to be a lot more land like this, and it's not there now. So those fire breaks are gone from the landscape. That moisture is gone from the landscape. And this is what we've put back. This is not natural. I built this. This Fourth Pond, I started it in 2000. Oh, sorry, another distraction. I've got to get down here. So this little plant here, this is Centipede kamihemii. It's not weed. It's a medicinal plant, Aboriginal medicinal plant. Can be used as a tincture that you drink, and it's good for the skin. My wife actually makes these creams and natural traditional soaps out of them, and it's just, oh man, the best stuff for your skin. So good. Okay, where was I at? So all this green. You know, this is what's needed in the landscape. This is made. So this was just paddock before, and an area where the creek and a bit of a cut had been made that eroded out. It was nothing like this prior to 2000. So this is one of something like 30 ponds that I constructed to build the Redman Bluff Wetlands. It's lifted the height of the freshwater in the ground. It means there's growth year round. It means there's free water for part of the year. It means that instead of just having, several thousand frogs across 8 species, we have no evidence, but it sounds like we've got 2 million frogs nowadays, 25 years later from the start of the project. I just love walking around through this. It's just the beautiful sounds. There's so much life. And if you've watched the video that I did, the second one of the Walk and Talks, where I start in the fire ground and head into the camping ground, you see such an incredible contrast. Well, you hear the contrast. You go from silence, apart from the wind, through to the sounds of life, the sounds of an ecosystem that's flourishing. It is so good to live amongst. It is so good to have people come visit this. This is a special little spot. And it's only special if you know what you're looking at. So, it's making me wet. All these sedges. So this is a part that flows past Ibis Wetland, her ponds. It's like a little bypass run that takes the bigger flows. Now, what's significant about it is it's flat bottomed. I set it up to be a floodplain, and I set it up in such a way that the water can soak in. So it's given all this incredible structure. This is places where the swamp rats can get into and hide, where there's seed for a whole range of different creatures. Where I guarantee you right at this moment, there's going to be a lot of frogs, sheltering in here, hunting on the wetter nights for food. It might look messy, but damn, it's so important, this sort of ground. This is, what helps to build some of the foundations for the ecosystem. Okay, I'll swing around. Okay, Mount William under the clouds over there. Redman Bluff here. The rain's nearly past now. So there's a lot more of the wetlands that I could take you through, but I think that gives you an idea. I think that's giving you a bit of a start of why this is important, why we need floodplains, why we need wetlands in the environment. If we want life, this is the stuff we need. Okay, bye for now.